Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to look at something you probably use every day without a second thought, the elevator, and completely reframe it.
We are.
We're diving into Mitsubishi Electric's really innovative new approach. It's called MUs, and it basically transforms the elevator from this huge, expensive product you buy into a long-term guaranteed service.
It's a perfect example of what the industry calls servitization. It's this trend of turning a physical product into a guaranteed outcome.
Like the classic Rolls-Royce jet engine example.
Exactly, power by the hour. The airline doesn't buy the engine. They pay for the hours it's actually running, and Rolls-Royce takes on all the risk. Mitsubishi is essentially taking that high-stakes model and applying it right to the built environment.
So it sounds like our mission today is to understand how this MUs model, that's M-Use, is actually structured. Why would a huge company like Mitsubishi disrupt its own sales model?
And how they deliver on this promise of, predictable performance and cost control that traditional ownership just can't seem to match.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The mechanics. How does this actually work?
Well, the foundational difference is in the legal structure. It's really critical to understand that this is not a traditional purchase. It's not even a standard finance lease.
So who owns the elevator?
Mitsubishi Electric, or its regional subsidiary, they retain ownership of the equipment. They own the asset from day one all the way until it's retired.
So if I'm a developer, I'm not putting a massive asset on my books. I'm just, contracting for a service?
Precisely. You're basically taking a new elevator on loan, and you're paying for the service that it provides, not the physical thing itself.
And I imagine the contracts have to look pretty different then.
Oh, they do. It's structured around a very long-term contract. The initial commitment is usually 20 years.
20 years.
And because Mitsubishi is investing so much in the quality and the data infrastructure behind it, they actually guarantee the performance life of that asset for up to 40 years if you renew.
40 years. That's double the expected lifespan of a lot of elevators before you're looking at a huge, costly replacement.
Exactly. It's a game changer.
Okay, so moving that huge upfront cost is obviously massive for developers, but how does the financial side really stack up? Is it just moving money from CapEx to OpEx, or are there real savings here?
For a building owner, the strategic benefit is enormous. You get flexible upfront investment options, potentially as low as zero.
So no big check to write at the beginning.
Right. And instead, you pay a fixed, all-inclusive periodic fee, monthly, annually, whatever. And that fee covers everything.
What's everything?
The use of the elevator, all maintenance scheduled and unscheduled, all parts, repairs, replacements, and even the mandatory safety inspections. It creates perfect cost predictability.
That fixed OpEx curve is the dream for any CFO. But there's a natural tension there, right? If the price is fixed, how do you make sure Mitsubishi is incentivized to keep that elevator running perfectly?
And that's the real innovation. It's not just a flat fee. It also has a usage-based element to it.
How does that work?
They use IoT sensors to monitor actual use, so how many trips it's making. And while the base fee is fixed, the billing can have these transparent adjustments based on that actual wear and tear.
But the most fascinating part I saw in the sources was the downtime clause.
Yes. This is the core of the alignment.
You only pay for the mobility you actually get.
Exactly. Mitsubishi is very clear. If the elevator is out of service, whether it's for maintenance or an unexpected breakdown, the customer is not charged for that downtime.
Wow. So if the elevator stops working, the manufacturer literally stops getting paid.
It perfectly aligns their financial incentives with your operational needs. There's no benefit for them to cut corners on maintenance.
And that clause it immediately transfers all the financial risk away from the customer. A major failure in a traditional model is a huge unplanned bill.
Here, that risk belongs entirely to Mitsubishi. But it goes beyond just the money. The contracts are built around verifiable performance.
You mean like KPIs and SLAs?
Right. Key performance indicators and service level agreements, and they are legally binding. These include things like guaranteed uptime percentages, response times for service calls, even ride quality.
So what if they miss those guarantees? Say the elevator is down longer than they promised. Is there a real penalty?
There is. If they fail to meet the SLAs, the customer gets discounts or compensation on their annual fee. You are literally paying for a guaranteed level of performance, not just renting machinery.
Now, to back that up, they have to be incredibly reliable. This whole model falls apart if the elevators are constantly breaking down.
It does, and that's where their tech, like the Bridge platform, comes in.
Right, the IoT system. What's it actually doing?
Because Mitsubishi owns the equipment, they get all the data. M's Bridge monitors hundreds of parameters in real time. It lets them shift from, calendar-based maintenance to predictive, needs-based
So
maintenance
they can see a part is starting to degrade and just replace it before it actually fails.
before it ever causes downtime, yes.
And the results of that are pretty tangible. The sources showed MU's elevators have statistics that are way, way better than the industry average.
They're staggering, really. They report, on average, less than one failure per year.
Compared to what?
The industry average is about 2.7 malfunctions per elevator per year.
Okay, and that translates directly into downtime.
It does. MU's elevators have about 17.5 hours of downtime a year. The industry average is closer to 88 hours.
That's an 80% reduction in downtime.
Right.
For a building manager, that means 80% fewer trapped tenants, angry calls, emergency repair bills. I mean, that's a huge operational benefit that's almost hard to quantify. The peace of mind alone.
Absolutely. The customer completely outsources the entire problem. They just get guaranteed mobility.
Okay, so let's pivot a little. This whole model, it sounds intrinsically linked to sustainability and the circular economy.
It is. It's a core strategic driver for them.
How so?
Well, think about it. Since Mitsubishi owns the asset for decades, they have to design for longevity and for its end of life.
Because they'll be the ones dealing with it in 40 years.
Exactly. They have a vested interest in installing high-quality, robust equipment that's easy to maintain and, crucially, easy to disassemble. They want to salvage components, refurbish them, and recycle the absolute bare minimum.
And they're actually tracking this, right? With the materials passport.
They are. The MU's elevators come with a manicured materials passport. It documents every single component, which makes future reuse and recycling so much easier.
That's a level of accountability you just don't see when you just buy a product off the shelf.
And it changes the whole procurement incentive. In a traditional model, an owner might pick the cheapest elevator to save on the initial capex.
Even if it won't last as long.
Right. But in the MU's model, Mitsubishi is the one carrying the risk for 40 years. They have to prioritize quality and smart design, or they'll be the ones paying for it in maintenance and repairs down the line.
The market seems to be responding, especially in Europe. I saw a KPMG sustainability study mentioned in the sources.
Yes, and it made a very strong financial claim. It found that MU's is over 15,000 euros cheaper than an average Dutch elevator over 30 years of service.
And is that just operational savings, or does that include avoiding that big replacement cost?
It includes everything.
Yeah.
The total cost of service compared to the total cost of ownership, which includes maintenance, repairs, and that big inevitable modernization or full replacement that hits around year 20 or 25. The flat OPEX curve just beats the spiky traditional cost curve over the decades.
And we've seen big names get on board. WTC Amsterdam, ABN, AMRO. They're endorsing it for the fixed price and the sustainability angle.
It clearly works for those sophisticated commercial clients.
So let's just pull this all together for a second. Let's contrast the two models for you, the listener.
Okay.
Ownership. Traditional model, the building owner. MU's, it's Mitsubishi.
Right. Financial burden. Traditional is huge spikes up front capex, midlife modernizations. MU's is a flat, predictable cost curve.
And lifespan. Traditional elevators often get fully replaced after 20-25 years.
Whereas MU's offers guaranteed performance for up to 40.
Which brings us to the big question. Why did Mitsubishi do this? It's not a charity. What's in it for them?
Two main things: stability and data. First, they secure a steady, highly predictable revenue stream for 20, 30, 40 years. That's huge for their financial stability.
And second, the data.
The data. Retaining ownership means they get to fully capitalize on all that operational data from M's Bridge. They use it for the predictive maintenance, sure, but it also creates this incredible feedback loop.
A feedback loop for what?
To design better products. They're the ones paying the repair bills, not the customer. So it forces their own engineers to build more reliable, more efficient elevators. It drives internal innovation.
So MU's really is a paradigm shift. It takes what can be one of the most high-risk, high-cost assets in a building and just turns it into a utility.
Like electricity or water, you get a guaranteed outcome, and the customer gets predictability and performance, while Mitsubishi gets stable revenue and forces itself to build better products. It's a win-win.
It really demonstrates that business model innovation can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than just pure product engineering.
I mean, they've successfully shifted the whole mindset from buying a product and just hoping it works to simply purchasing mobility and demanding that it works perfectly.
So if you look at these high-cost, high-maintenance assets like jet engines and now elevators that have been so successfully converted into these long-term performance services, It really makes you think.
Hmm.
What other critical building systems are next? Could we see HVAC as a service or lighting as a service, all to drive efficiency and circularity? If the utility is guaranteed, does the ownership model even matter anymore?
Thank you for listening to today's episode of our Digital Servitization Exchange podcast. We hope the insights sparked new ideas, challenged assumptions, and brought clarity to the evolving world of service and digital driven business models. This podcast is grounded in extensive research across various fields, drawing on years of academic work, case studies, and cutting edge publications. It also shaped by hands-on experience of our collaboration partners, whose real-world challenges and successes help us to translate theory into practice. If you enjoyed the episode, consider following the podcast and sharing it with colleagues who are navigating the civilization journey. Your support helps us continuing bridging high-quality research-based and practice-proven perspectives straight to your ears. Thank you for tuning in and see you in the next episode.